Happy Mother's Day! I wasn't even sure how I was going to feel today, so I kind of left it up in the air if I was going to make a video. But I just want to come on here and say, first and foremost, if you did not have a mother, if you did not come from a solid background, or if your mother passed away early, or if your grandma passed away early, like my grandma did, you know, you're stronger than what you think. And it's okay to feel that pain. It's okay to allow yourself to feel those emotions, but do not allow yourself to sit in it. Things happen. There's nothing that you can do about that. But the best thing you can do is take that, learn from it, and implement the certain things that you need going forward. And for me, I have basically implemented the things that I did not like from other people, and then incorporated, okay, how do I make sure I don't pass this down to my kids? How do I make sure I don't do the same thing to my kids? And that's kind of like how I go about life. I don't dwell on things for too long. I allow myself to sit in it, to feel it, and to move on. Because what I've learned is the more you try to block your emotions, you try to block your feelings, it's just going to keep manifesting in other ways until it kind of gets to you and it breaks you down. So when I have those feelings, I allow it to hit me, do its process, and then I move on. And I just want to say also that when you've come from a situation where you have not had a mom, you have not had that motherly guidance, I should say, and you're able to provide that for your children, you should really, really, really be proud of yourself, because you know how hard it is to give something that you've never had. Do you know how hard it is to be something that you've never seen? You know what I mean? You're doing things that you've never done. You're pushing yourself to a limit where you didn't even know if you were capable. And sometimes we have to be put in those situations to know really our fullest potential. We're not going to know it if we're not in that situation. And had God not allowed certain things to happen in your life, you wouldn't know how strong you really are. So be grateful and thankful sometimes for the hardships, because it really exposes the strength within you. So outside of that, I just wanted to say God is so cool. He allowed me to be like a mom where I have two sets of kids. So I feel like, in a sense, like a grandma, because with my older kids, I'm able to reflect and remember like what worked, what didn't work, and then implement certain things. With my younger kids, typically you don't get that until you become a grandma. You have your adult children and then you start over with your grandkids. Or unless you have adult kids and then you start all the way over, which I didn't do that. But having two sets of kids, it really allows me to be able to look in the past, see what worked, see what didn't work, and then implement certain things, like I said, with my younger ones. And it's a really good feeling. I'm grateful that God allowed me to birth 4 children. I'm grateful that God allowed me to still be standing here with my children. There's a lot of mothers who brought children into the world that did not make it off of that hospital bed. So I'm just grateful that God seen me through all my obstacles. He's seen me through all my struggles. And even during times when nobody was in the hospital with me, even when nobody was supporting me, I did not have family, I did not have support with my children. I'm, at the hospital late nights when they're having asthma attacks, or, all the things that I have accumulated and I have went through over the years with my children. God has equipped me for that, and He has been right there. And yes, it was some sad nights, it was some lonely nights, it was some crying nights, but let me tell you, the joy that comes along with motherhood, there's no better feeling. There's literally no better feeling to be able to birth a human, to mold this human, and create this human. And I'm saying human because they're not going to stay babies. You know what I mean? Like, I got almost a 16-year-old. And to see my young baby girl now growing into a young adult woman, it's like, my God, my God, my God. And by the grace of God, He has started my foundation over. Like my children are able to witness a side of life that, I was not able to witness. My children are set up for success, whereas though I was not set up for success in those areas. It wasn't meant for me. It was things that I had to break for my children to be able to succeed. And I'll be the sacrifice any day for my kids. So just want to make a nice little video, for Mother's Day, and just really talking about how much I really love being a mother. It's stressful. I'm not going to make it seem like it's not stressful. And also, if you're a special needs parent, you really are strong. Like, when I tell you, God really, really, really trusted you, because the amount of patience, along with other things, but the amount of patience you have to have when you have a special needs child, you really, 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 really are putting your child's needs first. And I'm not saying that if you don't have a special needs child, but what I'm saying is like when your child does not have any delays or difficulties, things are a little bit more easier in terms of a routine, maybe discipline, communicating. But when you have a child that has a lot of barriers, you have to be able to, in a sense, forget everything that you have learned. You have to forget everything that you have been taught, and you have to relearn how to meet this child where they are. You know what I mean? That's what I had to do. I had two older kids, and when I had my third baby, you know, it kind of didn't go with the flow. I'm like, oh, I already had two kids, so I know what I'm doing. It's not about knowing what you're doing. Every child is different. So when I was introduced to my baby, you know, my baby was not, I was not able to do the same things I was with my older kids. And it wasn't that she was different. I had to get different. I had to be able to meet her where she was. And that comes with patience. That comes with learning and understanding. If I was not willing to learn and understand and be patient, I would have never been able to meet her where she is, to give her her needs and give her everything she needs to be able to succeed in life, if that makes sense. So yeah, mothers are strong. We are the backbone. And for those of you who still have your mother, who still have your grandmother, and you guys have a great relationship, you know, you are beyond blessed. And I hope that you show people in your life how much you love them. And it's not even about money. You do not have to, if you don't have money, that's okay. Tell people verbally, write them a letter, you know, send them a nice text. If you can, pop up at their house, you know, show the people in your life that you appreciate them and you love them while you still have a chance. You know, to let them know and make a difference, and just let them know how much you appreciate them, because there's so much that, you know, our loved ones have done for us. And, you know, there's just days where I wish I could tell my grandma how much I appreciate all her sacrifices, how much I appreciate the things that she did for me when she didn't have to. She could have easily just said, you know, this is not my child. I still want to live my life. And, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to give up my life for my grandchild. My grandma was in her late 30s, almost where I am approaching in life when I was born. So for my grandma to do everything she did for me, you know, I wish I had the opportunity where I could verbally tell her one-on-one, like, I love you, I appreciate you, thank you for everything. So if you have somebody in your life, let them know how special they are. And if you are that special person, just know your kids appreciate you and they love you. And I hope you'll have a great day.